This will be my 4th time trying to get this recorded. Hopefully I have uninterrupted time this time and I can go through this whole thing. All right, typically my math science kids really struggle with this concept in grammar because they like to go from left to right and finish everything. And when it comes to grammar, sometimes you have to skip things. For example, I'm going to skip pushing because I don't know how it's acting in the sentence. But I am going to come back to it. I just might not get to it until I get to level 3. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather put it right than guess and be wrong, especially since it's the first word. If I guess right off the bat and it's wrong, it can ruin everything. Okay, so A is an article adjective, broom is a noun, the is an article adjective, porter is a noun, wore is an action verb, a is an article adjective, gray is modifying uniform, that makes gray an adjective and uniform a noun. I'm going to go find my predicate. Wore is an action verb predicate. Who or what wore? The porter wore. And the porter wore what? He wore a uniform. That makes it a direct object. So what I'm looking at here is, what is pushing a broom doing? It's not acting as a clause because it doesn't have a subject and a predicate in it. It's acting as a phrase or a verbal. Okay, so I'm going to go to my cheat chart and I'm going to look at my options. I've got a gerund, which is typically a verb ending in ing, acting as a noun. A prepositional phrase, we know it's not that. An infinitive phrase, which is to plus the form of a verb, so we know it's not that. So it could be a gerund so far. A participial is a verb ending in ing, d, ed, or en that acts as an adjective. Push is normally a verb. It's ending in ing, so it could be a gerund or it could be a participle. Or is it in a positive phrase? Well, that's an interrupting definition, so it's not interrupting anything and it's not defining. So it's either acting as a gerund or a participle. A gerund says it's acting as a noun, and a participle acts as an adjective. Well, look at what it's doing in the sentence. If it were a noun, it would be the subject or the object of the sentence, right? But those are already taken. See, we have a subject and we have an object. They're already taken. So it's not a gerund. It's acting as a participle. Push would normally be a verb, but in this case it's ending in ing, and it's acting as an adjective because what pushing a broom is doing is it's modifying porter. It's telling us what the porter is doing, so it's an adjective. Okay? So we don't have anything on level 2, but what we do have on level 3 is what we call a participial phrase. Okay? That's why this cheat sheet is so important. All right, let's go to the next one. Again, believe would normally be a verb, but it's ending in ing, so I'm going to come back at it later. In one's own knowledge is a prepositional phrase, so in is a prep. One's is a possessive pronoun. Own is an adjective, modifying knowledge as a noun. I'm going to finish out my prepositional phrase. It ends in an object of the preposition on level 2. Identify it as an object of the preposition, and I can't tell you how it's working in the sentence because I know it's modifying believe, but I don't have that there yet. Will is a helping verb. Create is an action verb. A is an article adjective. Sense is a noun in this case, and of confidence is acting as a prepositional phrase. Of is a prep, confidence is a noun, and the object of the preposition, and it's which sense, so it's an adjective prepositional phrase. All right, go find your predicate. Who or what will create? Who or what will create? Well, it's this whole thing. Believing in one's own knowledge is what will create. So this whole thing from here to here is acting as the subject of your sentence. Okay, so come over here. And the subject of the sentence has to be a noun. So what verbal or what phrase has a verb ending in ing that's acting as a noun? It is the gerund phrase. And it's the whole thing, believing in one's own knowledge, all the way to here. So therefore, if this is a noun, then this has to be an adjective. Okay? All right, let's try the next one. Okay? Y is an interrogative pronoun. R is a helping verb. You is a personal pronoun. Trying is an action verb. to deny, I know is going to be an infinitive because it's to plus a verb. Deny would be a verb, but I can't do anything with it because infinitive can act as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb, so I have to see how it's acting in the sentence. But I can say it's going to be an infinitive phrase because it goes all the way to me, and me is a personal pronoun. I just can't do this part yet. All right, let's go find our predicate. So we've got are trying, or my predicate, are trying. Who or what are trying? You are trying. What are you trying to, what are you trying? You're trying to deny me. So this whole thing right here is a DO. Well, what can be a direct object? It has to be a noun. Okay? All right, let's try the next one. Clause is a noun. Road is an action verb. With KC is a prepositional phrase. With is a prep. KC is a noun. Also the object of the preposition and the prepositional phrase. That's going to be an adverb because it's modifying road. I'm going to come back to trying, and I'm going to underline to avoid because it's going to be an infinitive form. To plus a verb, but I don't know if it's a noun, an adjective, or an adverb yet. Thoughts is a noun, and of his son is a prepositional phrase. Of is a prep, his is a possessive pronoun, and son is a noun. Also the object of the preposition, prepositional phrase. Which thoughts? The ones of the son makes it an adjective prepositional phrase. Okay, find your predicate. Road. Who or what rode? Clause rode. Okay, and clause is trying to avoid thoughts. So this whole thing right here is modifying clause. So trying is an adjective, which makes this a participial phrase all the way to here. And to avoid is going to be an infinitive phrase, to avoid thoughts. And to avoid in this case is acting as a noun because it's acting as the object of that participial phrase. I know, it's a stinker, but don't worry about it. We won't have very many of those. All right, let's move on. Okie dokie. Another one I'm going to skip. Shoot would normally be a verb like in basketball, but it's ending in ing, so I'm going to come back at it. Forward is answering what direction. The is an article adjective. Basketball is modifying player, and player is a noun. One is going to be an indefinite pronoun. Of, the shortest on the team, both of those are going to be prepositional phrases, sorry. Of is a prep. The is an article adjective. Shortest is a noun and the object of the preposition. And it's modifying one, so it's an adjective prepositional phrase. And on the team is a prep. The is an article adjective. Team is a noun, object of the preposition, and it's modifying shortest, so which one? The one on the team is an adjective phrase. Attempted is an action verb. Uh-oh, I got another infinitive here. To dunk. The is an article adjective, and ball is a noun. All right, let's go see what we can do. Find your predicate. Attempted. Who or what attempted? The player attempted. What did the player attempt? He attempted to dunk the ball. So this whole thing is your direct object. A direct object has to be a noun or a pronoun, which means to dunk the ball is your infinitive phrase. Okay, so what is shooting forward doing? It's modifying the player, which makes it an adjective and a participial phrase. Okay, one of the shortest on the team is an interrupting definition. It's saying which player? The one of the shortest on the team. So it is in a positive phrase. Woo, this is a messy one. All right, let's keep going. Okay, I, still believing in bending to discipline, would have to accept their decision. Okay, I is a personal pronoun. Still is an adverb. To what extent? And believing, I'm going to come back to because it's believe is a verb ending in ing. Still is an adverb. Bending, same thing, come back to. And then to discipline is going to be an infinitive. For now, I'm going to leave it, but I can't tell how that's acting in the sentence. Would is a helping verb. Have is going to be an action verb. And then to accept is another infinitive, to plus a verb. There is a possessive pronoun. Decision is a noun. Goodness. Miss Arndorfer filled this one with lots of phrases. Okay, let's find our predicate. Would have. Action verb predicate. Who or what would have? I would have. What would I have? I would have to accept their decision. This whole thing is a direct object, and a direct object is either a noun or a pronoun, so it has to be a noun, and this whole thing is going to be an infinitive phrase. All right, that was easy. Okay, what do we do with still believing, still bending to discipline? Still believing is modifying I, so that's an adjective. You remember what it's called? This whole phrase, still believing? Participial phrase. But look, this participial phrase has the modifier in front of it instead of after it. It's just fine. Okay? We've got still bending. Well, that's the same thing. It's still modifying I. So it's an adjective. And this is going to be, it's going to go from here to here. And it's going to be a participial phrase. And then to discipline is going to be an adverb because it's modifying bending, and it's going to just be the infinitive only because it doesn't have any other modifiers. It's just to discipline. Okay? Oof, messy, messy, messy. All right. Let's see if we can do these together. On November 30th, 1896, two bicyclists, I don't know, I can't say that, discovered the body of a huge sea creature that had washed upon a beach near St. Augustine, Florida. Scientists thought it was some kind of octopus that might have measured more than, we're going to do this one as 100 because I can write it in 2 words or less, 100 feet long. It was named Octopus giganteus, and a specimen was sent to the Smithsonian. Later on, tests revealed that the St. Augustine monster was not an octopus at all, period. It was actually a giant mass of whale blubber. Oh, that is so much fun. Okay. Sentences always start with a capital letter. What walks downstairs alone in pairs and makes a slinky sound? The slinky has been a favorite toy since its introduction on November 26, 1945. Engineer Richard James was performing an experiment with tension springs when one fell on the ground and began to walk. It's going to be here. That gave James an idea. His wife Betty came up with a perfect name for the new invention. Since then, more than 300 million Slinky toys have been sold.